at the bottom of page 254, just before the fifth law, is a sentence that I asked you in the reading guide to read very, very closely, because I think there's a lot contained in this, and I'd like to walk through. I'll erase quickly, and then I'd like to walk through what I think Gilson is saying in this sentence, because it gets us to the relation between metaphysics and other areas of human knowledge. Gilson writes, if every order of reality is defined by its own essence, and every individual possessed of its own existence, let's map this up here. So every part of reality has its own essence. There's a nature, there's a what it means to be. For each, there's a way of being a horse, there's a way of being a shoe. Every part of reality that we can find has some essence to it, some way of being. And every individual is possessed of its own existence. And I think Gilson's willing to admit both of these, right? Individuals exist as individuals, and each type of thing has a certain essence or kind or type of thing that it is. But if both those things are true, then to encompass the universality of being within the essence of this or that being is to destroy the very object of metaphysics. To treat being, or being itself, now I'm sounding like Heidegger, to treat being itself, or the universality of being, the whole, as contained in or being conditioned by the essence of a being, lowercase, of the part of the whole, is to destroy metaphysics. It destroys the very object of metaphysics. What's the object of metaphysics? It's being as such. Use capital B there. Is to destroy the very object of metaphysics. That is, the very thing which metaphysics is trying to study. You might compare this to trying to use a tool that is not delicate enough for the job. I try to use, a wrench when I really need to use a very fine-pointed caliper. What do? I distort and blunt the thing that I'm trying to pick up. I crush it. It's made out of a very thin leaf metal, foil. I need a more precise tool. This, by the way, for when you get to contemporary philosophy, this is exactly the type of critique. This is the style of critique that the phenomenologists make of prior attempts to account for human existence and human psychology and beings. The tools, the linguistic and conceptual tools we've tried to use to describe the subjective reality of human experience have not been subtle enough. So what you see with Husserl and Heidegger and others is the attempt to craft linguistic and conceptual tools that can actually describe human experience, subjective experience, without distorting it with metaphysical categories. What they say is essentially the same thing. The tools have been distorting the object. Every time we pick something up, it's crushed and shaped into a certain form. But we can actually create a new style of doing philosophy that will bracket all those metaphysical questions and simply take experience as experience. Just looking forward to phenomenology. That I take is the style of critique that they make. It's similar to this, only in the sense that it's saying the same thing about the tool, the mistake of trying to use the wrong sort of tool. For Gilson, it's the tools of the particular sciences, if applied to the object of metaphysics, to being as such, to being as being. Continuing the sentence, but to ascribe to the essence of this or that being the universality of being itself is to stretch a particular science beyond its natural limits and to make a caricature of metaphysics. To take a being for being is to destroy the object of metaphysics, which is being as such. To stretch a particular science, biology, psychology, physics, the like, to try to account for the whole of reality is to stretch the particular science beyond its natural limits to make a caricature of metaphysics. That's the key mistake, it seems, that many of these philosophers have been making, who have distorted metaphysics, given a false account of the whole, of the real, by trying to adapt the methods of the particular science. Back to Gilson again, one of his fundamental principles in this entire book and all of his work, using the wrong principles in a science, trying to do one science using the principles and methods of a different science is always going to lead you to error. So he's saying just that about metaphysics now. There is a coherent object for metaphysics, though it's difficult to articulate, and there are adequate methods for doing metaphysics. Any attempt to try to do metaphysics, to try to accomplish the tasks of metaphysics using different methods and different principles is going to go awry. So the error of taking the part for the whole, I think, really present on that page, and especially in that one long passage.